Friends, this story is about a girl who loves her own servant to quench her thirst and goes to Mars with him many times in the forest. Will that servant be able to turn that girl's dry field green? Be sure to subscribe and comment to the channel and tell us how you liked the video. At the beginning of the movie we see two sisters whose name was Kohni and the name of the other was Delta. Kohni was in love with an army man, so she married him, whose name was Clifford. After getting married, the two travel to paradise with each other. The next day Clifford has to go back to the army as he was a soldier, but during the war Clifford becomes crippled and is sent home. When Kohni finds out that Clifford's end pump is no longer working, then now water will come out of my well. Clifford and Kohni then arrive at an old mansion in their village. After coming here, Kohni takes good care of Clifford. She feeds him, bathes him, changes his clothes. Even after being disabled, the elbow stays with him well, but inside he feels the deficiency that could only be filled with a hand pump. But Clifford could never make up for his elbow, because his hand pump was not working and his elbow was crumbling with the force of chatting. So she puts Clifford's hand on her butterfly, because if not with a hand pump, then wet my field with your hand. But Clifford refuses to do so. Well, Clifford had become a writer after coming here, in which Kohni also helped him in every way. But Kohni was also missing her sister Delta a lot because she was lonely after coming here. The next day, Elbow goes to Black to walk Clifford out, where Clifford used to come as a child. Clifford says Elbows that we need to carry on our lineage. But you can understand that mine is of no use, and neither can I chat with you. Therefore, if you want, you belong to someone else, and we can carry forward our descendants by filling our farm with green pumps. Hearing this, Kohani says, "Aren't you crazy? Why would I pump my farm with someone else's hand pump?" Kohani was very happy inside, but she was showing Clifford. He doesn't need anyone else's hand pump. So Clifford also starts explaining to Kohni that you should take my word for it if we have to carry forward our dynasty, and I have full faith in you. Whoever you gappa chat with will be the right man because the respect of our family is a question. After that, they both return home. A few days later, Kohni's sister Delta comes to see him, who sees Kohni understands that while taking care of Clifford, she forgot to take care of herself. So to take care of Delta Clifford, she takes 1 minute and tells Clifford that from today this maid will take care of you and Kohni will go out for a walk from now on. After which Kohni goes for a walk alone in the forest, then his eyes fall on a man who is bathing there. Seeing Jesus, Kohni's desire was awakened, so Kohni goes and talks to the man, whose name is Oliver. When Kohini talks to him, he finds out that Oliver works for Clifford, but what does Kohini do to him? So, she just needed to quench her thirst. When Kohini asks Oliver about his family, she learns that Oliver's wife had drunk water from many hand pumps, so Oliver divorced her. After the conversation ends, Kohini returns home and starts watering her field while thinking of Oliver. Don't look too closely, you won't see anything. The next day, Kohini goes back to the forest for a walk and sees Oliver at a house. She approaches him and starts talking to him. Talking to Oliver makes Kohini feel good. Thus, she continues to gaze at him. Over numerous days, Kohini keeps visiting Oliver, but on one occasion, when she arrives to see him, her self-restraint slips away, and she embraces him, attempting to plant a kiss. However, Oliver rejects Kohini's kiss since his status is merely that of a servant. Yet Kohini, engulfed by her passion, manages to persuade Oliver to plant a kiss, and Oliver diligently irrigates Kohini's fields with his manual pump. To Kohini's delight, for she had not savored the taste of water from a manual pump in a lengthy period. Feeling liberated, Kohini returns to her abode after having an enjoyable time exchanging kisses with Oliver. Therefore, the following morning, she returns to the appointed spot to find Oliver once more and immediately starts to kiss him, having developed a fondness for Oliver's instrument. Moreover, Oliver ensures that Kohini's field is well tended, and comes the evening, he escorts Kohini back to her residence. Undoubtedly, securing such employment would bring immense joy indeed. Somehow Kohini started going to Oliver to water her field, so it became a habit to use Oliver's hand pump. She stayed with Oliver all the time. Wherever they found a place, the war began, sometimes in the forest or elsewhere. This way, Oliver kept Kohini happy. After some time, Kohini noticed that her melons had gotten much bigger, which meant she was pregnant. Then she tells Clifford that she and her sister are going to London to see a show on the 8th date. Clifford surmised she was probably intent on perpetuating their lineage, leading to her departure, unaware that the progeny was actually conceived with his own servant. Kohini, however, was determined to convince Clifford that the child's father was a prosperous individual from London. Consequently, Clifford's spirits were lifted, convinced that his lineage would prosper. When night falls, Kohini meets with Oliver and informs him of her impending departure, planning to come back in a month or so, and she confides in Oliver about her pregnancy and has informed Clifford about it. So, Oliver asks Kohini, "What did you tell Clifford about the real father of this child?" Kohini explains that this is why she's going away, so that Clifford thinks it's a rich man's child and doesn't suspect anything about Oliver. Hearing this, Oliver gets angry and tells Kohini that she came to him to use his hand pump just to get a baby, and she had taken advantage of him. He starts yelling at her, making Kohini angry, and she leaves. However, she had left her diary with Oliver. On the following day, Kohini takes Clifford out for a stroll, when suddenly Clifford's vehicle becomes stuck, prompting him to contact Oliver for assistance. Kohini attempts to converse covertly with Oliver, but he disregards her and departs, much to Kohini's irritation, as she was already weary. During the night, Kohini visits Oliver's residence to offer an apology and expresses that her actions were not for the sake of the child. She confesses her love for him, declaring she can't be without him, even at the risk of parting ways with Clifford. As they engage in conversation, rain begins to pour, prompting Kohini to undress and immerse herself in the rain, with Oliver joining her. In a bid to locate Kohini, Clifford dispatches a maid into the forest. Upon arrival, the maid witnesses Kohini and Oliver in a joyful moment together. She hastily escorts Kohini back home, where an irate Clifford confronts her. This confrontation leads Kohini to depart without uttering a word. The subsequent day ushers in the arrival of Kohini's sister Delta, who intends to escort her away. The sight of Delta brings immense joy to Kohini, who confides in her about Oliver and how she has developed affections for him while engaging with his hand pump. Delta's reaction, however, is one of dismay, as Kohini has seemingly chosen a mere servant for love. In a heated exchange, Delta insists that Kohini abandon her affection for Oliver, but Kohini stands firm, desiring a final encounter before her departure. In preparation for her departure, Kohini brings Delta to meet Oliver. Delta warns Oliver that Clifford's eventual discovery will lead to his dismissal and questions Oliver's ability to keep Kohini content. She bluntly states that although Oliver may be capable of irrigating Kohini's fields with the hand pump, the absence of financial support will lead to happiness. Following these stern words, Delta takes her leave. Oliver processes Delta's words carefully. Addressing Kohini, he suggests they should diligently contemplate their future prospects. But for Kohini, happiness found in their carefree conversations was enough, especially since she was set to leave the ensuing day. Together, they irrigate the fields one last time. The following morning, Delta returns to fetch Kohini. With bittersweet farewells, Oliver bids Kohini goodbye as she departs with Delta. Kohini feels very lonely at home, while Oliver's wife's brother finds some of Kohini's clothes and her written book left behind. Afterward, he tells everyone in the village about it, spreading like wildfire. Clifford finds out about it too, so he calls Oliver over. He contacts him and inquires, "I've caught wind of something. Is it the case? Did you irrigate my wife's plot with your pump?" Oliver remains silent. Consequently, Clifford terminates his employment and advises him to depart the hamlet by twilight. The housekeeper overhears and promptly notifies Kohini, prompting her to hurry from London. First thing, Kohini seeks out Oliver, who had intentions involving 921. She suggests they elude together, but Oliver declines, insisting they cannot flee since he is without shelter or employment. Thus, she is compelled to remain, while he pledges to secure income and return for her. With these words, Oliver departs. Kohini, disheartened and with despondence etched on her face, approaches her spouse and confesses, "You were the one who said you could get anyone to plow your field. Now that the crop is grown, you refuse." Clifford responds, "Yes, I said that. But I also said not to wet your field by an outsider, only by your servant, and now the whole village knows. I can't accept this child." Hearing this, Connie asks Clifford for a divorce as she no longer wants to stay with him. This hurts Clifford deeply, and he starts crying in front of her. But Connie feels no remorse and abandons him, returning to her metropolitan life in London. There she's engulfed in solitude, perpetually haunted by thoughts of Oliver's pump. Connie's tale had reached everyone in London as well, casting her in a dubious light. Then one day, Delta hands Connie a message from Oliver, which beckons her to a reunion. Overjoyed at the prospect, Connie sets off to see him, and their meeting is filled with happiness, for now Connie had secured a partner to cater to her every need. And thus, the love story of a mistress and a servant ends. Please comment on what you think about their deeds. Thanks for watching.